Howdy gang, and welcome back to my Minecraft guide. Today, we learn about some of Minecraft's rarest items, and how to get them. So turn your listening ears on, because this is going to get interesting. So let's get into this. But, before we do, be sure to subscribe, because it really helps me out. And let's get into this. Alright, first up, smithing templates. Now, smithing templates are special loot that you can only find in treasure chests. Now, where can you find them? Found in all types of structures, in the overworld, nether, and the end, smithing templates are a more recent addition to Minecraft. Now, the important thing to note is that the netherite upgrade smithing template is particularly tough to get, because you find these in bastion remnants, which are piglin-infested structures in the nether, as you know. Now, you can look for these structures in any biome in the nether except for the basalt biomes. Interesting. Now, why didn't they include them in the basalt biomes? I think it would have added one more aspect of treacherousness to the basalt biomes themselves, which, as you would know, are already treacherous enough. So, if you had the bastion remnants in the basalt biomes, they would be that much more treacherous and that much more intriguing. But that's not important right now. The important part is that you can only find the netherite upgrade smithing template in the bastion remnants, and they are required if you want to get netherite gear, unfortunately. So, you want to get netherite, you have to brave the piglins. Next up, ancient debris. You can find this at Y level 15 only in the nether dimension. That's an important distinction, only in the nether. Netherite, being the new gold standard for armor and gear, players will want to find it pretty fast. But, as I've already stated, you have to get the netherite smithing template upgrade thing in order to actually upgrade to netherite. Otherwise, you can't actually upgrade to netherite. It's required to get those templates. So, you can't just get the ancient debris and then poof, you got your netherite gear. No, you have to get the smithing template first. But that's beside the point. The point is, you find ancient debris at Y level 15 in the nether. Very important. It's also very important to note that the grind for a single ingot is not easy. First, you need to find an ancient debris, which is only found, as I've said, at Y level 15 in the nether, and is dangerous to mine. So, you gotta be careful. But, thinking about it, there are ways that you could find ancient debris out there. Like, for example, use the beds to explode, which explode because you can't sleep in the nether for some reason. Or you could use TNT, or the classic method of mining, just your pickaxe. Either way, you can use any of those methods, and even mining machines. Like those redstone machines, those tunnel bore things, you can use those to mine for the ancient debris. Those are ways you can get it. But, beside the point, once you've found your ancient debris, you must smelt it to gain the netherite scrap. Now, you need to get 4 of these, 4 of them, combined with 4 gold ingots to get 1 netherite ingot. Now, I know that's expensive and quite a long grind, but it's worth it for the best gear in Minecraft up to date. Next up, emerald ore, which is rarer than diamond. This spawns exclusively in mountain biomes. Now, you're going to need emeralds if you want to do some things like trading, in some cases. So you're going to want to find your emeralds, but you do not have to only mine for them, because as you may know, you can use certain methods to gain emeralds with farms. There are plenty of emerald farms out there, so we're not going to go over it right now. The important thing is you can mine for emeralds, or you can also get farms for emeralds, or in some cases, maybe, if you're lucky, trade for them. Now, I'm not exactly certain on the trading, but it may be possible. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on the trading for emeralds. But I digress. Point is, there's more than just mining to get emeralds. Now, it can be tricky to find, but emerald ore is now about 30 times more rare than diamond, due to it only spawning in 1 to 2 block veins, meaning players have to be quite meticulous when mining to catch them. Now, I must say, emerald is a very interesting ore and all, but there are more interesting things on this list. Thankfully, emeralds can be found in loot, so you might want to opt to find emeralds that way. Coming across emeralds naturally is a stroke of luck, but you might want to opt for searching chests for emeralds. That would be an easier way to do it than just coming across them naturally. Of course, they're mostly used for trading with villagers and wandering traders. But remember, they're not exactly easy to get, so you're going to want to pay very close attention to your surroundings to find your emeralds. Next up, the chorus fruit. This is an odd food item that could only be found in the end, which is the primary reason it's so rare. Now you're going to want to head to the end islands after accessing the end itself to harvest this strange purple tree. Now, if you eat it, it will teleport you up to 8 blocks in any direction, while also restoring 4 of your hunger. Now, you're going to want to go through the end portal, which will transport you to the end. You will have to find the chorus trees, which are tall, coral-like blocks around the outer islands. Breaking these blocks will give you a 50% chance at getting a chorus fruit. Now, this is important to note because that is how you actually get to the chorus trees themselves. So you're going to want to remember those steps. Now, this is important to note that chorus fruit is interesting, but it's not the most interesting thing on this list. Trust me, there's more. Next up is the Echo Shard. These are only found in the rare Deep Dark City. Now, you're going to want to search the caves underneath mountain biomes to actually find the Deep Dark, and possibly an ancient city. Now, this is a newer item, which is interesting enough, and is used to craft a recovery compass. These compasses are useful, as they can direct you to where you previously died, which can be helpful for recovering items you might have dropped. However, these compasses are clearly useless in hardcore, so don't bother with the recovery compass in hardcore because you die once and you're done. But if you're playing regular survival, then you're going to want to find some Echo Shards because these recovery compasses will be useful in standard survival. That much I can tell you. But if you think about it for a second, while the ancient city itself is an interesting structure, we're talking about the Echo Shards here. So, can be hard to find these cities, but you're going to want to just be very careful because these cities are very treacherous. So you may want the Echo Shards, but you also might not be geared up fully enough. You're going to want to be very careful. So try and find Swift Sneak if you can. But that's just me. Now, the echo shards themselves can be hard to find, as they can only be found in chests, with about a 29.8% chance to be found. If you do open a chest, you can only find about 1 to 3 shards per chest. To craft a recovery compass, you will need 8 of them in total. Now, this does mean that it will, take a while to craft one recovery compass, but in standard survival, it may be worth it. So find yourself that recovery compass, because you may need it later. Next up is the Totem of Undying. Now, this is dropped by the infamously tough Evoker. Now, the Evokers are only found in woodland mansions. You're going to want to remember that. And Evokers are tough to kill, so you're going to want to be very careful. Now, raids that spawn Evokers can also yield totems. These are immensely helpful little items, because they can actually allow you to survive what would otherwise have been fatal damage. Now, these are interesting. Now, I will say that Totems of Undying are not exactly very common, as they are uncommon little items. So, you're going to want to just be very careful with how you use your totems, because these are not exactly common things. Next up, the Nether Star. Now, this is looted from the Wither. Now, you're going to want to be very careful when finding your Nether Stars, because the Wither is not an easy boss to take out. But if you can manage it, you can get a Nether Star, which is used to do what? Make the next item on this list. And that item is the beacon. Now, this is a rare thing, of course, because it is crafted from a rare item. Now, you're going to need a Nether Star, some glass, and some obsidian. Very important. Beacons are one of the brightest blocks in the entire game. And they emit a beam of light that points to the sky, which can be very helpful when trying to find your base. So you may want to put a beacon by your base as a way of making sure you have a way of telling where your base actually is if you get lost flying around with your elytra. Very important, trust me. Beacons can also help you in terms of buffs. So a lot of people use them to, for example, get some mining buffs or various things. Very, very important. Just don't forget that. Beacons are not just for decoration. Beacons are very important things. Trust me. And you can only get them by taking on the Wither, so you're going to want to be very careful. So try not to forget that, okay? Next up is the Golden Apple. Now, these can be found in some chests in various dungeons and structures. Now, Golden Apples are very helpful when it comes to actual health regeneration, because they give the eater the regeneration 2 effect that heals half a heart every 0.4 seconds over the course of 5 seconds. Very important to remember that. Now, it is possible to craft your golden apples, though it will require a fair bit of gold ingots. 8 to be more precise. So, that needs to be put all around an apple on a crafting table. Now, with the new crafter, this can be automated, but you still would need a gold farm to have a surplus of golden apples. They're very helpful because, as well as a type of food that upon being eaten grants absorption 1 that provides 2 bonus golden hearts that act as armor, though only for 2 minutes. As I've said, it also gives the regeneration 2 effect, so that is helpful. You're going to want to remember that. And lastly, but not least, the dragon egg. Now, these things you can only get from beating the Ender Dragon. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many times you can keep getting the egg over and over, but you can only get them from beating the dragon, so remember that. And as of right now, 1.20, the dragon egg is only decor, so have fun with it. And that is some of Minecraft's rarest items, and how to find them. So have fun adventuring and be sure to search for these items, because they can come in handy at some point, I'm sure. So, have fun! And while you're at it, be sure to subscribe, because it really helps me out. And I will see you in the next one.